All right, hi, this is Henk. Welcome to the Skull Sessions. And today my guest is Dicey. We would never how to pronounce your last name. Grenor?
Grenor is fine. I wanted to do Grenor, but I didn't want to have to put the accent over the gr no, the nor part all the time. So I just went with Grenor, but Grenor, whatever, it's fine. You got Dicey right.
Yes. All right. So, what do you got going on? I know this year, I see you all the time in Texas Authicon, but this year is the first time you're doing KillerCon in Austin, too.
Yep. First time to KillerCon, I had a chance to meet some of the guys behind that team at Terror on Tap. That's one of Jace Mazur's spots. She had an event in October of last year, I believe, or it might have been September. I don't know. All my months and days kind of run together. But so I met a few of them then, and it seemed like it'd be a cool event. I haven't been able to go in the past because it's usually at the same time as Houston Horror Film Festival. So this time it's like the weekend before. So I'm gonna go and check it out. I hope to have a good time.
Oh, is it? It's like a separate week? Because I know it's always the same time. Because I knew you and Chantel always like you should come to the Houston Horror Festival, and I'm like, oh, but it's the same weekend as KillCon. But
Right.
you're saying this time it's a different week?
This
Uh,
time it'll be the following weekend. Yes. So I think KillerCon is the first weekend in Austin, and Houston Horror Film Fest is the second weekend in Austin. I mean in August. I'm saying Austin, but KillerCon is in Austin in August, and Houston Horror Film Fest is in August the second weekend. So I'll be able to do both.
Maybe I should try and do both. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. They probably have a wait list for Houston Horror Film Fest now, but be sure to get on.
Oh,
Yeah, make sure you sign up for next year. We always have a great time there. Love it.
okay. All right, so let's talk about what you got on. I know you have like a string of books out.
I do. I have a lot of stuff out. I've been uploading my stuff to TikTok Shop. That's probably like the latest thing that I've been doing because I know a lot of people are boycotting Amazon, and it's adding it to other platforms has been one of my checkoffs on my to-do list. I have pages and notebooks full of to-do lists, and that's just one of them, but I'm finally uploading to TikTok Shop. I have I think two up there already, but I don't even know how it looks to other people because I'm in the probationary period. So it
I didn't
doesn't.
even know that TikTok had a shop.
Yep, they have TikTok Shop. Now, selling mine is also kind of tricky because I get flagged when I try to talk about my stuff on different platforms. So I'm the delicate balancing act. There are a lot of authors that I read that write dark and risque content too, and I see them able to perform on these platforms. So I'm trying to learn from them so that I can navigate without having myself banned or oh my goodness, I'm getting ashamed. You see, Dan, this is what this is what happens with my age now. Do you see that?
Well, I'm sure that I'm older than you, so you know, so it's fine. It's like I figure everything is downhill, at least for me after 30. So after 30,
Yeah, it's a whole after 50, it was a whole nother level. Like this right here, I don't know what this is, but hey, the alternative is is even
well,
worse.
you know, we might all be in the Matrix, so like, who knows?
Yeah, I have a fan right here that I could turn on, but I think it's gonna give us some noise, and so I'm gonna just I'll wait for this flash to pass.
You're fine. You're fine. So let's get back to what you got going on. So you're saying that like a lot of the stuff that you had previously on like Amazon or whatever is now on the TikTok shop. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah, sorry. Thanks for getting me back on track. So I am currently adding my stuff to TikTok Shop, but I also have a Shopify. Now, what's funny about this is that I've had this Shopify store since 2023. I just have not managed it properly. I haven't
Yeah,
added on there yet. I've had like novelty stuff like dice related stuff as a
right.
playoff game, Dicey, and I've had like some floggers, something like in the BDSM community type stuff. I've had stuff on there like that, but I have not set my stuff up properly. And I'm really just taking the time to actually go back through and do some of the more updated steps towards towards being a businesswoman, I guess, in the book industry, because I've been publishing since 2011. This being 2025, there are so many different things. Things change, things grow, and you really have to keep up with the times. And so there's a lot of new tools that we can use and a lot of new platforms. So the old way of doing things, if I keep doing that, then I'm gonna go the way of Blockbuster. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to be innovative, like
Yeah, I
never.
remember we used to get Blockbuster all the time. It was like, they were like
Yeah.
the conglomerate, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Yep. And so that's what'll happen though if you don't keep up with the new things, if you don't update. And so I'm in the process of learning and figuring out how to navigate in this new world of putting books out there. And so it's a process though. Like it's not something that just I could just do overnight. So, but it's happening. Like I'm currently in the process. So far, two of my books should show up on the TikTok shop because they have been approved. And me as a TikTok seller, it shows on my end that they're live. However, when I go to my profile on TikTok, I don't see it. So I don't know if somebody else can see it if they go to my profile. But I'm still in the process of updating and adding more. I'm looking at my books over here now. I have if I got two up there, I still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 I need to add.
Oh, holy shit. So, just throw it out there. What are the names of the books you have on TikTok right now?
At right now, that shows as live on my TikTok seller is supposed to be Sleepy Willow's Bonded Soul, book one of the Narcoleptic Vampire series, and Sleepy Willow's Heartless Soul, book two of the Narcoleptic Vampire series. Now, both of those books are still, as of right now, still on Amazon. I'm not taking them down, but
Well,
they're all
Amazon's a giant seller. I know you can sell like with a bunch of different mediums.
right. I still have them as paperback, ebook, and these two books happen to also be in audiobook format on Amazon and Audible. And but I have a lot of different stuff and a lot of different books, even in other genres. So I'm gonna add all of it to all these other platforms as well.
Well, I noticed like the last anthology I did, which by the way, everyone, Dice is my new anthology.
That's
Um,
right.
did you see the picture that I drew for your story?
Absolutely. I've been sharing it everywhere. I put it in my Amazon, in my Instagram stories the other day. Yes, I love it. You nailed it. I
Thank
love
you.
art. You are such a wonderful artist and tattooist. And so you read and edited Goddess of the Apocalypse, and it's a story introducing my character Medusa, who's not a stranger to anyone, but my rendition of her should have some original aspects, hopefully. But yeah, you nailed it. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I really enjoy that illustration. Like, somebody like have more of like a vision. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm gonna do, and that was one of them.
Yeah,
Um, I noticed with going back to the books for a minute, I noticed with like a lot of the books, like so if I do them through a publisher, I don't really handle it. The publisher handles it. But I noticed that like I created my own publishing company and I put out my own books and I get a much better return because it seems like the publisher they get like 35% of what it sells for on Amazon, and then they give me 35% of what Amazon gives them.
yeah,
Whereas if I create my own publishing company, I get 35%, but that's way more than 35 of 35.
yeah. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about being a traditional or legacy author and being an indie author. That being the indie author attracted me right from the beginning. I don't have to wait for my stuff to come out. When I'm ready for it to be released, I can release it. I
Right.
I can keep, I have more creative control. I get to
Yeah,
keep
you
more.
can alter it whenever you want to.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, that whole gatekeeping thing and the negative connotation to be an indie author, I always thought was kind of bullshit from the beginning. And I think more people are starting to realize that now. That even a lot of traditionally published authors are like, I could do better on my own, especially when I have to get out here and market my books on my own too. So why have to share that? Now that's no diss to the people who are still traditionally and legacy published. There are some positives to that. The name recognition and like I said, the legitimacy. A lot of people think that that makes them a more legitimate author. But in terms of business, in terms of, you know, uh, long term, I think probably being a hybrid is better. That way you get the best of both worlds. But
Well,
there is,
that's what I do. I have like some that are like I guess legacy published, like traditional publisher, whatever we call it, And then I have some that I put up myself, and I created my own publishing company for that.
yeah, there you go. I think that's the way to do it. For me, I have never like tried to get on with a big publishing house or anything. And what I've done in recent years, like with your anthology, The Joke is on Mankind, and with Stitch Smiles Publications and Mocha Memoirs Press, is I feel like this is my way of supporting small press. So
Right.
these are other, this other authors that have decided to be a publishing house and have a business of putting out the quality of books that they want to put out. And this is my way of supporting that by getting my work into those anthologies. And then I actually will buy copies of those books and sell them on my tables as well. I sell them because this is my way of, I mean, I don't make a lot of money off of it from what I mean is uh it's there's not like a huge stipend that comes with it or anything. It's not the advance that the legacy publishers or traditional publishers might give, but it's an intrinsic value in me supporting a small press and then actually selling their books too, so that way I'm putting money
Well,
back.
you'll probably get more income from the one that I put out because I'll just order you author copies, so it's the exact same price that they would charge me.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and when you sell it, you like whenever I sell it or you sell it or anybody sells author copies, they make more money than if the same thing sells on like Amazon.
Right, right. That is a symbiotic relationship that we have that I think benefits all of us. Yeah, I love doing that. That's
Yeah, and I've noticed well, like there's a whole bunch like right now my main traditional publisher is Macabre Press, which is also Crossroads Press. So they're really good, but I've had so many back and forth. Like I did Nation Books, they're horrible. I had Permuted Press, a bunch of people left there and went to Crossroads. That's how I found out about Crossroads. It's a very, very mixed bag, yeah. But
oh,
they're talking to people and they're like, oh, I use Ingram Spark, and I use Draft Digital. And then some people are like, I just use Amazon. And I have stuff, like, if you want to get out to, like, everything besides Amazon, like, all the, like, Apple Podcasts and Apple, like, Kindle and stuff like that, you have to use this, but they give you less than Amazon. I don't know,
mm,
maybe because Amazon's the conglomerate, but like if I sell a paperback on a draft digital, I think I get like 135, and I sell the same paperback for even the same price or cheaper on Amazon, I get 335.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's hard. Nothing's easy.
Choose your hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nothing's easy. It's gonna be hard either way. There'll be challenges in either way, I guess I should say. So choose which challenge you're willing to work with. So
Well, I noticed with the last anthology, and I have it in drafted digital, and people prefer to buy off that because they're like, "Fuck Amazon, I'm not buying off Amazon."
mm,
So actually, I've noticed that that one has sold a bit. And obviously, I make less. Like I think drafted digital just sent me a return. They're like, "You made 35 cents." I'm like,
mhm.
"Really?"
Yeah, and Amazon has changed a lot over the years because they also suppress indie authors real bad.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah, I do not like that. That it's not just the general public's perception of indie authors not being of the same quality, but even Amazon, like they were taking down reviews from people that you know. It's like, well, those are the first people we actually connect with. What
right,
makes
right.
reviews any less real than the same reviews that are on the
No,
big
you're
six?
right. They have recommended reviews now.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
like, who the fuck is this?
the way they group us together. When
Yeah,
I first started publishing, they had me like recommended along with some authors that I'd read and were really big fans of and that were big authors. And then after a while my book started going to just African American lit.
right.
I was like, well, that's interesting because I never clicked African American lit as a category.
No,
So,
they did that. They've done that to me too. Like they pick categories, and they're like,
yeah,
I have no control. And I even talked to Amazon. I was like they said my book was like it says something something television, and like most of the television is like linked to television shows like Star Trek or Star Wars. I'm like, that's not my stuff. And they go, oh well, that's because, and they give me this long spiel about like it's basically bullshit. But it's
yeah,
like I never put television. Don't put me in that category. And then they put
right.
me in young adult, which
Yeah.
actually got me a bad review because like somebody's like, "Oh, this is so horrific," and I'm like, "Yeah, what am I doing in young adult?" You know?
Yeah, this was young adult. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's changed a lot and it doesn't make things all that easier, but I mean it still is the biggest platform for us. So I'm not going to take it down. But it is challenging at
Maybe
times.
just offer it on a bunch of platforms. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So just put them on as many platforms as you can. And you know what I've been doing recently, Dan? Also, I've been doing consignment. So I know
Okay.
yeah, that own stores, and I can go in and I'll talk to them, or it's a friend or whatever, and we'll
I
make them.
found when I lived down in Texas, that was a lot easier. Like, I live up north now, and in New York, it's kind of hard. Like you have to like go back and back and forth, and maybe if you're lucky, they'll take something to assignment, but then they won't even like put it out there. It's like buried back, in the back aisle somewhere. Whereas in like when I lived in Austin, like you could look at comic shops. Like, yeah, I'll do a consignment. I mean, Austin being his last city, or you have to like hit him up a few months later. Hey man, did you sell them copies? Oh yeah, I sold out. Well, thanks for telling me. But at least they put it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's good. I'm going to your convention in
And right
October.
around Halloween. Yeah, yeah. It's
Going, what is it?
because I told everybody in my new anthology that like I'll get you a free booth, and then we got some other authors coming too. But yeah, no, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm going there. And this is the first time, though, that I am actually going to travel with my books. So yeah, this will be an experience. I'm not sure how to handle it or what to do because the logistics of getting my books to another location, it's one thing if I'm driving, I can just pack my SUV. It's another thing having to carry my books all the way to somewhere. So I'm thinking that I'll at some point just carry what I can and then maybe find a bookstore there if I don't sell all of them to take them to a bookstore. That way I don't have to ship them back or bring them back with me.
Well, if you want, you can ship them to me, and I'll bring them up to Albany because I'm driving there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, how
I
many
don't know if that's cheaper, but it might be.
No, I don't even know. How do you normally, because I've seen you bring your books like to Texas AuthorCon
I
and
ship them. Yeah, I ship
ship
them to
them.
like Merrill, and Merrill just like brings them in.
Ah, okay. All right, that's good to know. How many do you normally ship? That's another thing.
Well, last time, like with AuthorCon, I sell, but I don't crazy sell. KillerCon, I sell a lot more, and I noticed like kind of the key to KillerCon, you do a book reading, and once they hear like what your book is a little bit about, you sell out. So I remember I sent stuff over to AuthCon. I didn't sell out of anything, but I sold some copies. And then I had Meryl ship those over and I ordered some more. And then I went to KillerCon and I was selling, I did the book reading, I sold out everything.
Oh, okay. Well, do I need to bring like each of my books or just focus on one book or a few books in particular?
Well, I noticed like when I did the reading, I read one of my stories from the anthology I did, but I also sold out of all my other books.
Hmm. All right.
So it wasn't like everyone was just looking for the anthology. And I even like I had like, kind of fancy, expensive hardcovers, and then I had cheaper paperbacks. I sold everything. If people be like, "Yeah, I want that," I'm like, "All I have is left is a hardcover." They're like, "Okay, I'll take it."
Yeah, all right, good. Good to know. Do you think people look at you, they look at the tattoos and everything, and they're like, you know what, this guy, yeah, he's gonna write some good horror.
Actually, I think it kind of works against me. I thought it would because like I first started putting stuff out in like 2010, 2011, and I thought, oh, this huge fan base, like 17,000 people on Instagram and like 7,000 followers on Facebook and stuff. But the thing is, like, they viewed me as like the tattoo guy, not as the like horror author guy. And like, there have been a couple of tattoo people that decided they were going to be authors. I mean, they weren't horror authors. They were just like, oh, I'll put my poetry out. I'm a big name. Everybody love it. It's like, no, they love your tattoos. Your poetry sucks.
Yeah,
So I think if anything, that might have like worked a little bit against me. But who knows?
fair enough. My dog is out there barking. Now my phone is going off. I'm wondering if somebody's at my door, but I hear my phone buzzing, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is up here.
Well, if you want, like, I'll cut this out. You can check your door.
Oh no, it's all right. They'll go away. I just wanted to look at my
Go
I wanted to look
away.
at my doorbell camera. But yeah, it's all right. I'm having some weird moments right now. Ignore me. What are we talking about?
Well, let's go over what you have out so that people can give you money and where they can reach you.
Oh, give me money. That's my
Yeah.
favorite thing to talk about. Yes. Okay, so well, what seems to do the best for me is my narcoleptic vampire series. And this is so I have a vampire who has narcolepsy. She works in a fetish club. A lot of the spicy comes in there. She has a love interest with a personality disorder. She There's a lot of creatures that go bump in the night, heavily spicy. There's a religious element to it also that I sometimes forget. Like there's multiple layers to the story. So what stands out to people though seems to be the spice because I go all the way in. You know what I mean? Everything is on the page. It's not closed door, but it is also stories. Like there is character development. So right now there are 7 books in that series. Four of from Sleepy Willow's perspective. I have Wolf's Fire, which is about my vampire. I'm sorry, my werewolf dragon pairing. And then I have Zeke's Love and Thorn, which is that is my intersex vampire. She gets her own story. I have Along Came a Killer, which is another a vampire assassin. I like to, this is my outlet for the violence and the sexuality that comes out in very odd, dark, twisted ways. But that's not all I write. You know what I mean? I really go back and forth between romance and horror, urban fantasy, sci-fi.
Is it romance and straight up, or is it romance with a little bit of like a dark twist?
Always a dark twist. So it feels like horror, but sometimes it's more of a romantic element. So
Right.
there, yeah. And even in my vampire series, it's still heavily romantic, but it doesn't have the rules of one guy, one woman, and they live happily ever after. Like there's a lot of shit that goes down between page 1 and page 300.
Well,
And
happily ever after is not realistic, so
well, people don't really want realistic in their fantasy. They kind of want to escape. So it's not realistic, but I hope people feel that they're represented. Like you can still identify with the characters.
right.
It is very character driven. They go through a lot of emotional angst. I have Best Friends Fantasy Lovers, which is Best Friends Fantasy Lovers and Fast Friends Desperate Lovers are a part of my Kinky Friends series. And these start this is a friends to lovers trope. They are and you know what, I'm looking at my book sitting over there. I should have positioned myself so that I could actually pick up the covers.
I'll put it on screen.
Oh, okay, good. So Best Friends Fantasy Lovers and Fast Friends Desperate Lovers, their love interests, they're completely opposite from their love interests. So these are interracial and romances. And there are menage scenes also. I try to make sure I give people triggers, to let you know that there is some dubious consent, dub con in there. There are a lot of BDSM elements. There, if so, that's where the darkness comes in. There is a lot of dark. These people are bonding over trauma, but they're healing through rock music. That is a rock star series. I got an Irish guitarist and a drummer, and there's more. All of these have multiple sequels that are not out. They're just here in my head that I haven't gotten to yet because I see something. I get a muse or I get an idea for something else, and I got to write that, and I got to write that, and I haven't.
Do you
I have.
write down notes like for you're like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll say that.
Oh, I got notebooks full of notes.
Yeah, I do that with my phone. I was like, that sounds like a good story. I'll write that down.
My messenger app is overloaded with ideas.
Same
All
here, yeah.
through to my head throughout the day. My current muse kind of it always gets me out of the blue, but currently I'm hooked on this. I don't even want to say it. Uh,
Why are you gonna say it?
It usually starts with an actor. Okay, this is part of my process. It'll start with an actor that I start obsessing over because I like something about them that kind of jars me into a fantasy world in my head, and then that stays and it becomes a burning idea that I just have to get out. So there is something that I watched recently that has introduced me to a new fella, and so I'm actually glad because it's like, man, this menopause is taking over my brain. Where is my spice? Where's my juice? Like, I really got to get this cranking in here so that I can get it going on the paper. I can tell that my inspiration, my passion is suffering. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of passion that goes on in here that goes on the paper. And if I'm not feeling it in here, then the paper is suffering. So finally, there's a little
Are
spark
you telling me
here.
who the actor is?
Ah,
Come on, you gotta spit it out. You gotta spit it out. Now you built all this up.
I'm scared to, you know why I'm scared to? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the name and then I'm gonna tell you why. So his name is Matthew Broom. And if anybody has seen My Fault London, they know why. Okay, this dude has two motherfucking credits. Two. And he is going to be a major star because he has just got that oomph. He is also Guy on the Buccaneers. So I have watched two things that he is in, but he has stolen the show. He is just he's very talented, but he's also like super gorgeous. You know what I mean? and he has range and he is versatile because these are two totally different characters. It looks like two different people playing it, but it's him in both.
Was
I'm
it
embarrassed.
Matthew Broom?
Yes, Matthew Broom. My Fault London is like the version of My Fault Spain that has two movies that are out, and My Fault London to me is just far superior. Although I did watch the Spain version, it's so much different, and I really loved what he brought to My Fault London. What is embarrassing to me about this, Dan, and I'm mad that you drew this out of me, he just turned 24. Like that is so embarrassing. Look, it is so bad. Okay, my
Well,
daughter
I didn't say you're gonna elope with him. I just said, who is it?
my daughter is 17 and my mother-in-law is like 68, I think. And all of us was sitting in here binge watching his shows like, oh my God, that is three generations of women that are thinking the same thing about the same fellow.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can separate it. I can admit somebody is gorgeous without saying, yeah, I'm going to go out with them tomorrow. I'm obsessing over them, to the point where it's like, that's all I'm thinking about. Yeah, you can recognize if people are good looking, you know?
Yeah, but it's more than that. I see good-looking people all the time, but there has something to make it obsessive enough for me to get the spark in here to create. That's the energy that I create from. I
Right.
create that energy. So, I mean, I'm glad. Like, thank you, Matthew, but at the same time, like, ah,
Well, I'll split up the guards. Like, the people, like, their personality that you see is probably not them. That's your idealized version of they did something that you really like. So that's the way you see them. But that might not be like a real perspective. That's something you made up in your head. It's with everyone, Like there are people that I'm like, oh yeah, they were awesome in this. They're this awesome person. They're so attractive. They're so like intelligent. So whatever. It's like, yeah, but they're also playing a role.
yeah, yeah, that's fair. And that's also beautiful for me because I can fill in all that imaginative gray area with whatever I want. That's where the creation comes from. I
Right.
fill in the gaps from what I don't know about this person. However, I've watched a ton of interviews, and so I like the three versions that I've seen of him so far. The version that he's shown in both a TV role and a movie, and the version that I see of him when he's playing himself in interviews. But he's an actor. I don't know what kind of person he really is. And that's where the beauty of filling in that gap comes in for me. I can pretend that he's anybody I want him to be. He spurs the thought, he gets the story going. I build a whole world around that, and I that's how I write. That's how I write.
Right.
You're watching it in real time.
No, but that's important. That's the creative edge. All right. So before we head off, why don't you tell me everything you have out and like what people can see?
Oh yeah, yeah, I didn't even finish. Yeah, Shameful is a novel. That is the first one that I wrote. And Shameful is about a married mother of three that has an affair with a much younger fellow. Look, I know what I just said about Matthew Broom, and he is much younger. This was not because I have had any inappropriate relations with anybody this fucking young. This is all creative, but there are some legality issues in Shameful. This is
Well, you
not
pull a Jada Pinkett Smith, so
Yeah, this no, yeah, all this other shit. No, 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 no. I have absolutely not, and I would not. This is just because I want to write controversial things that make people think. I am presenting the journey that Joanne goes on as she is developing this very inappropriate relationship with this fellow. But this is not my biography. This is not my autobiography. It is not a memoir. I have to say that it's not a biopic. It is not about me. It's because I it's a taboo novel that I knew would ruffle some feathers.
Right.
Lolita has done it. Tampa by Elisa Nutting has done it. Here's another one. Shameful. I also have I have stories in a bunch of anthologies. Uh, I have let me see. I have a vampire story in Slay, which is a an anthology with a bunch of vampire stories. Mine in that one is called Black and Deadly. And nobody has gotten what the real meaning behind the story is. And the real meaning behind that story is boredom kills. So far, I have heard all kinds of, oh, this was this and oh, this was that, but no, nobody really nailed it. I wrote it from the perspective of boredom kills, and I told that story. But it really did pretty well. I started getting a lot of people wanting to read my vampire series based on the vampire short story that I put in there that had no relation to my vampire series. It's just because I love vampires. I love vampire stories. That is the original OG creature of the night for me. And so I'm always going to come up with a vampire stories. I think in terms of vampires and bloodletting and stuff like that. So I
What
had
would you say your favorite vampire novel is?
oh God, that is way too hard. That's way too hard.
All
Anytime
right,
you
so I'll throw some out. You just tell me if you like them.
okay,
So, do you like the original Dracula?
yes.
Do you like the Anne Rice? Like, I don't like all of Anne Rice. I don't know what your perspective, but like her first couple novels are really strong.
Yes, I like them all. I'm looking at posters of all those people you just mentioned right there in my room. I have a bunch of posters around here. But, before you go through your list, I'm just going to tell you that I can always find something to like about them. Even Twilight. I realize that has become the punchline for people, but I ate that series
Glittery
up.
vampires.
I loved it. I loved it because it's just a different twist on a old vampire lore. So yeah, I got the whole Twilight series. I loved it too. Charlene Harris's Sookie Stackhouse series. I got True Blood over here on my wall. Loved it. Yes. If
What
it's
was that
vampires,
series? It was vampires versus werewolves.
uh, the Lycans, are you talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Underworld? Yep.
Yes,
Love that.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm looking at Blade over here on the wall. Interview with the Vampire. Yes, love them. All of them. Dracula Untold, love it. Um, Fright Night was my introduction into it. Fright Night in the 80s. That was my introduction into vampires, and I just stayed here. It's like, oh, I'm terrified. Oh, I'm turned on.
What was it one with the it was originally a French movie, I think. It was a girl vampire and
Let the
she
right one in.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yes,
And the
love.
French version is way better than the remake, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I like both of them. I like both versions. Yeah.
Did you watch 30 Days Tonight?
Yep, loved it.
Yeah. I think that's a great one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, even the ones that are not great are still good.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. Yeah, that is my honest opinion about it. There are some that I may love more, but I like them all.
You saw that one with I'm sure you did. Lance Hendrickson's in it. It's Lance Hendrickson, Bill Paxton. I'm blanking on the name. It's one of my favorite vampire movies ever. Um,
If I could pull my phone out, I could look up that name you just said because it's not coming to me right off, but I'm pretty sure I know it. I
it's
want
like
to.
this guy's like a cowboy, and he goes to like like I think to refill his truck or whatever, and meets a girl, and like she bites him, and it turns
Dawn.
out
That one is From Dusk Till Dawn, I think is what you're talking
no,
about.
no, no, it's not from Dust to Dawn.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I love Lost Boys too.
Yeah. It's just rice. It's just rice.
What you said, Bill Paxton? Let me look. I found my
Lance
phone.
Hendrickson, Bill Paxton. I think Penelope Spheres directed it.
Let me see. Bill Paxton, his face. Frailty? Let me see.
No, that was a good movie though.
Hmm. Let me see. Do you know about when? You see, you got me
Uh,
going down the
it's
rabbit
like I
hole.
think the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going down the rabbit hole now. Because I knew all of them that you said so far. And
Lance Hendrickson might be the one to look up.
if you're telling me one that I've missed, that means I gotta watch it.
It's really good too. I'm just blanking on the name right now.
Hmm. Well, go ahead, keep talking. I know you don't want to have some
No,
air.
well, let's just let's go over what you have and how people get a hold of you and throw money at you.
Okay. See, I'm gonna have to come back to this. I couldn't find anything on there so far, but uh, I'm I am on my website is diceygrenorbooks.com. And you know how I was telling you in the beginning how I have a long to-do list. So one of the things on my to-do list is to update my website. I don't even remember what year I stopped updating it, so it doesn't even have all my books on there either. I'm so sorry. I'm a one-man show. I'm a one-woman show, and I do it all. Like I do everything. And so some things are just falling by the wayside, and I'm trying to take time to actually get everything up to date. So my website is it leaves a lot to be desired, but it is there. DiceyGrennerBooks.com. I also have my books are on Amazon, and they're on other online platforms like Barnes and Noble and what's the one that starts with a K?
Starts
Called,
with a K.
yeah, I haven't heard of the name in a long time, but Kiosk, no, Kion. Oh, anyway, but they also have been snatched. Some of them have been snatched down, like Shameful catches hell from people once they realize the dude's age. So it gets snatched down. There are some others that get snatched down, but
Wait, what do you mean by Snatch Channel gets taken off the site?
yeah, it gets banned. I'm a
So,
banned book author.
which actually means it usually sells better, but yeah.
Yeah,
Whenever people try to ban something, people look for it.
yeah, whenever people find out about it. So that one is very polarizing. People either really, really love it. I've had people say, that is my favorite book. Please write more like this. And then there are other people like, I can't do it. My son is this age or whatever, you know. And
Right.
I've also heard, or
But
after,
also fantastical creatures, so I don't know why you have to personalize it to your family.
yeah, it's well, that one there's no creatures in it. Did you say
Okay.
creatures? Yeah, that one doesn't have creatures. That
No,
one,
no, creatures.
creatures?
Creatures like mythical creatures like
Oh yeah.
vampires. Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, that one is like an unconventional romance. It's dark, but it's also taboo. It's taboo, and I used to get hate mail on it, and and
You
I
have
screen
to really be into something to get hate mail on it. Like
yeah.
it's almost like, well, it definitely has something to it if people feel so inflamed they have to write hate mail.
Oh yeah, but I think the first year I was at Texas AuthorCon, some people got a hold of it. And they were like, "Oh my God, this is so good!" So it had a resurgence after that because people had heard about it. Sometimes I have to be careful though when I even talk about that one. I have to be careful because I'm an officer of the court. You know what I mean? Like in my
Right.
job. So and it kind of goes way against that, but. I try to bring like different aspects of it. And I even argue a lot of the legalities too, because there
Okay.
are some things that are inherently bad, and then there are some things that are socially or policy bad, legislatively bad. And so it's basically an argument. The whole book is an argument, and you make your own decision. Like, this is not, I am never trying to convert anybody to enjoy what I'm writing, or, it's something for a conversation. If you want to talk about it, it's something for you to process and think about for yourself. But it is not, these stories are not oh, you should think like this, or you should enjoy this, or I have a reverse harem in my vampire series, or why choose? Like a lot of these are you don't have to choose between him or him. Can't you just have both? Or all three, or all four, or all five? I mean, if you are a
I just
vampire,
looked it up.
you
Near Dark.
Near Dark,
Yeah, you never seen the movie Near Dark?
Near Dark. Hmm. Let me see. Near Dark. uh, it doesn't sound familiar.
If you haven't seen it, watch it. You will thank me later. Trust me,
Oh,
it's really
okay.
good.
This does not sound familiar to me. Near Dark. Okay, I will. Contemporary Western vampire horror. How about that? All right, I will. Thank you. I will check it out. I'm always looking for recommendations on things that people and that people think that I would like, tailored to me. So thanks. I'll check it out. Near Dark.
Yeah, if I wasn't blank, I'd remember because it's literally one of my favorite movies ever. It's really good.
All right, that sounds good.
All right, so before we cut this off, just shoot a little bit more. So people go to your website to get. Would you have like signed copies available, or do you have any like trinkets, like plushies or bookmarks or anything?
No, and I have had all that stuff made. I've had all the swag and all that. And once I have given out my last flyer, I have given out my last bookmark, all that. I just kind of look at that stuff as wasteful now. I understand people want swag and all that, but how many bookmarks can we have? How many flyers can we have? Like now you can just scan a code, scan a QR code, and it pops up to everywhere. So I'm not I don't have all that. I don't want it to even do all the bells and whistles. I don't even have business cards anymore. I do digital business cards. We do Blink. I can forward you all of my information just like that without having to have this wasteful paper. So no, if someone wants a signed book from me, like I said, I am starting a TikTok shop and a Shopify. Or you could just message me and I'll send it to you, or I have a Patreon. I'm all over social media at Dicey Grenor. Or if you come to a book event, if you just let me know, I can do the mail, the post office mail. I forget what they call it, but there's a business mail so that I'll have inexpensive shipping for a book and I send them out. If you get them directly from Amazon, though, they're not going to be signed because they're the ones that Amazon is making. But if you buy it
Well,
from,
what they should really do is come see you at all the conventions you're doing this year.
that's
Like
right.
you're doing Texas AltaCon, that's in Dallas, Texas, that's in July. I'll be there as well. You're doing KillerCon, that's in Austin, that's in August. I'll be there as well. You're doing I think it's the Dead Man's Hand Horror Festival in Albany in New York, and right the Halloween weekend, October, what is it, October 30th, 31st,
24,
something.
6, I think.
But and I'll be there as well. So yeah, definitely come see Dicey, buy her books, give her money, you know, she'll
Give me
sign it for you.
bring
Uh,
me money. And yeah, and I love to meet people in person. I love taking the pictures. I take pictures with people when they buy books because I like to reflect back on it. I've had people come back years later and I remember exactly which book they bought because I had a picture. I don't know. It feels personal, very intimate.
yeah, I wish I have such a bad memory because as you are, so I traveled all over the world. I met thousands and thousands of people, and people were like, "Hey man, you remember you tattooed me 10 years ago?" It's like I always try to play it off. Like I always try to say, "Oh hey dude, what's up?" Like, but some people be like, "You don't remember me, do you?" I'm like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, I can almost remember if you've gotten a book from me and I signed your autograph years later, most of the time I can even remember their name. I've come back to Peter. I can come back to people. I'll be like, hey Peter. And I
Yeah,
remember
good for you.
the face.
I'm just saying, I mean, that's my problem.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people get seriously offended too. It's like, dude, I did not mean to offend you. She was like, I don't remember her name. I mean, I did have brain cancer, so there
Right, right,
is
right.
that.
There's that, yeah, of course, yeah. It's just I think I'm in a heightened state when I'm doing this because it's a passion of mine and I love it and it kind of solidifies it in a way, or it's like a snapshot of the moment. So I can really come back and we can pick up where we left off in terms of their story. I've had people, well, I've met them and they were pregnant at the time, or their son was getting married. I mean, like different odd things. And the next time I see them, I was like, how's your son? Or, I
Right,
just
right.
story, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no, that's
a
awesome.
lot harder at this age, but I try to keep
What, we turned 25 last year, that kind of like
being 25 again, yeah.
that's what my dad, that was his joke. He'd always say, like, yeah, this year I turned 21. You'd
Yeah,
be like 70.
right, right. And I think I keep saying I have a friend and we talk about it all the time, like not telling people's our age. And I I'm so bad about that. I'm always talking about my doggone age. Like I don't know how to stop. Like if I tried, I could probably pass for 30, but here I am always telling on myself. Like it's like it's
Right.
at this point. I don't know what that's about. There's a trauma in there somewhere.
Trump there somewhere. But, well, it's nothing to be ashamed of, obviously. I don't think so.
But
But you're aging very well, Dicey. So
thank you. But have you seen the show Younger that was on MTV?
no.
I watched it recently. I binged all 7 seasons on Netflix, and this lady is 40 and she can't get a job for nothing. She's going through a divorce, and so she's starting life over again. She meets this guy who is 28 and he assumes she is the same age and she just runs with it. She pretends to be 28. She
Oh, she
decided,
lies to him.
yes. Well, she didn't actually say. She just allowed him to believe it once he
Right,
was,
right.
and then
So, like, kind of like a libo mission, sort of.
yeah, but then she took that and she also started applying for jobs, and that's how she got a job. So this whole show is based on her pretending to be 28 and starting in a publishing house. She's working at a publishing house actually, and pretending to be 28, and she's getting coffee. She's starting an entry level job, but she also has the wisdom and the experience of somebody who's 40, so she's able to kind of rise through the ranks pretty
I don't
quickly.
know why your age would necessarily be a thing. It's more like how you held up. I mean, you take people
Uh,
that like are in their 50s, like, I don't think anybody says that Salma Hayek looks disgusting now. She looks
right.
awesome. She's
Oh,
like in her
yeah.
50s, yeah.
It's gorgeous, but ageism is real. I can tell you, I've learned firsthand. It really is. But here I am still telling my age all the time. Like, I'll
Yeah,
never
you turned 26, right?
26. Yes.
Right. All right, well, thank you very much, Dicey. Do you have anything else you want to throw out there
Oh,
to
I
the
just
multiverse?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you, talking to you. I love your tales from the Crip hat. It was great hanging out with you last year. We went to see Deadpool and Wolverine after while we were there at Texas AuthorCon. I can't wait to see you again this year. I don't know what's coming out that weekend, but I'm sure we're going to find something. My girl Chantel also was with us. We had a ball. We had a panel discussion together that was really fun. So looking forward to seeing you. I'll be seeing you a lot this year, actually. I feel like
You'd
at
be
this
like, I'm so sick of Dan. What the fuck?
I feel like at this point it's time for you to give me a tattoo. Like find somewhere on my body to get a tattoo since I'm gonna see you so much. But look at
We can talk. I mean, I will have all my equipment up in Albany, so yeah, we'll talk.
all right, all right. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for listening and watching. Is this gonna be visual also?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you all for listening and watching. I hope you've enjoyed my posters behind me. I got Terrify over here, Twins of Evil, Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie back there, Marilyn Manson over there. Oh, I got a whole bunch of stuff in here, but I love talking about these type of things. So I loved coming on chatting with you. I'm going to the rodeo today. Going to see
All right.
Journey. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Dicey.
Bye.